Namaskar, I am Dr. Bela Sharma, Additional Director, Internal Medicine, Fortis Memorial Research Institute, Gurgaon. I am heading the Department of Preventive Health Care and Lifestyle Medicine, which is called Health for You. I am going to talk about geriatric health care, which is care of the elderly. Whether you are an elderly person or you are caring for an old person, this is for all of us. An elderly person has slightly different metabolism, slightly different needs, and needs special cares. That is why it is important to know what are the healthcare needs that we need to look for. I call it my alphabet for geriatric care, starting from A going up to Z. With that, we come to the next alphabet, F, fall. Now, fall in elderly can actually be catastrophic. Why? We just talked about bone health. How to prevent falls at home and outside. If you are an elderly person staying alone at home, keep railings in your bathroom, next to the seat, in your bedroom, next to the bed, so that you get up with support. If you're going out, tell somebody that you're going out, keep your support with you. Even if it is a small stick which gives you support. Wear comfortable shoes. Your shoes should be non-skid. Keep non-skid mats in your bathroom and keep all the numbers ready so that in case you have a fall, you can call somebody. You should have all your essential rooms on the ground floor itself. Please do not try to climb up and down the stairs. And if you have duplex kind of house, I advise everyone to have at least a small lift. Nowadays, it has become essential and it is easy to install also. Otherwise, keep everything on the ground level. Even in the ground level, normally people have these rooms which are, one step above the other. Don't. Falling over even a small 6 inches step can be very difficult. And if there's a fracture, it will not heal easily. Fever, even if it is very low degree, can be a sign of something very serious. So do not ignore that fever. Don't say, okay, it's a viral fever, it will go away. It could be something serious. It could be just an infection. It could be just a viral fever, but it could be a major infection or it could be a sign of something different. So if you have fever, if you feel feverish, check your temperature, call the physician. Get yourself investigated, get yourself tested. Gut health somehow becomes very important for the elderly. See, because with age, absorption of food becomes a little slow. One is not able to eat the way one was used to. There are certain things which become slightly less palatable and certain foods one is not able to eat. Make sure that you eat sufficient food and you eat enough nutritional food. I advise elderly not to take too many laxatives because there is a tendency that okay, I am constipated, so I should take laxatives so that my stomach is cleared. But what happens is when you take too many laxatives, the laxatives strip your intestines of all the nutrients also. Second thing that I would like to again talk about is gallbladder. Why? Because gallstones are very, very common. A number of people do not get themselves operated when they are young. But at an older age, when surgery is not possible, these stones can constantly irritate the gallbladder and may turn cancerous. So if you are a youngster or if you have somebody at home who's not elderly but say middle-aged and has gallstones, I would request to please get that operated. Heart and hypertension, I think, has been talked about quite a lot. Hypertension, like I said last time also, is a silent killer. Along with that, a silent heart attack can happen at an old age. There may or may not be any symptom, there may not be any pain, but a person may just feel a discomfort. There may not be a chest pain, but pain may be there in the middle of the stomach. The person may feel just discomfort, may feel nausea, may feel sweating. Any symptoms like that, or if there's any history of a high blood pressure or cardiac problem in the person or person's family, don't take it lightly. Go to the hospital or at least inform your physician. Then infections in the elderly. Again, because immune system becomes slightly different when we age, a person may have an infection but may not have any symptoms. Again, there may be just, like I said, mild fatigue, or that feeling of not being well, or feeling of ill health, not feeling hungry, not feeling like getting up. In that case, again, any change from the normal behavior, one should take care. Consult a physician, check for any infection, whether it is in the throat, in the chest, in the stomach, or in the blood, anywhere. Because infections in the elderly can very easily spread. Even a simple throat infection or urine infection can cause septicemia, and person can go into shock very easily. Insomnia or lack of sleep. This is something people very commonly complain. Now here I would like to say something. Sleep requirement is very individualistic. Some people require maybe 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Some people can get by very well with 4 to 5 hours. With age, again, requirement generally decreases. A number of elderly people can get by small naps during the daytime, and then they are not able to sleep at night because again physical activity is not there. I generally don't advise any sedatives for elderly because a number of sedatives can sometimes depress the respiration, and that may cause problems later on. Again, sedatives can also depress the nervous system. So if a person is suffering from dementia, then again sedatives can become slightly more dangerous. But if a person is agitated, if a person is anxious, or if a person is in pain, then it may be required without supervision, without consulting a physician, without consulting a doctor. Please do not give any sedatives or anti-anxiety medication because they may affect the person in a different way. Not only that, if there is any kidney problem, liver problem, the metabolism changes. So the medicine is not metabolized as fast as it would be in a younger person and may remain in the body for a longer time and may prove to be detrimental to the person's health. Joints, I think we have talked about bones. Now, one thing, bones and joints are different. When we talk about bone health, we are talking about this bone. We are talking about this bone. We are talking about the legs. When I talk about joint, I talk about this. This is my joint. This is my joint. These are the joints. I am not talking about the bones per se. Joints are mobile. They cause mobility. If I have to pick up something, I have to use my joint. Joints start becoming slightly stiff with age. So joint health becomes important because they restrict our mobility. The more mobile you are, the more active you are, healthier your joint will be. But if you have joint problems, if there are pains in your joints like knee joints, hip joint, ankle joint, consult your physician. You have pain in your shoulder joints. A number of times there's something called a frozen shoulder where you're not able to move the shoulder. Most of the times, physiotherapy, exercise can help it. The doctor may prescribe a painkiller, but do not take anything without prescription. Do not take anything without supervision. And yes, if some procedure is needed, go for it. But if you have a normal, healthy, active lifestyle, the joints will also remain healthy. Exercise, proper exercise will help you and your joints remain healthy. Kidneys, we just talked about kidneys for medication. With age, every 10 years, the number of nephrons, that is the basic units of kidney, they start decreasing, which means the basic capacity of the kidney starts decreasing. Of course, these nephrons are in thousands, so 10 less nephrons will not make a big difference, but over a period of time, it is going to make a little bit of difference. Keep your kidneys healthy. How? Don't take too many painkillers. Don't take painkillers indiscriminately. Don't take too many antibiotics unless it is required. Like I said, no medication without supervision. Drink sufficient water, because water is like, it cleans the kidneys. Water cleans your system. Keep yourself clean and healthy. This is important for both women and men. If you are drinking enough water, if you are keeping yourself well hydrated, your kidneys will remain healthy. And if your kidneys are healthy, your blood is clean. For diabetics, it is very important because over a period of time, diabetes does affect the kidneys. But if your blood sugar remains controlled, this effect will remain minimum. In case there is a problem in the kidneys, please consult your physician and your nephrologist. There are certain ways with which your kidneys can remain healthy for a very long time. And if any procedure is required, please go for it.